While everybody funnels on in. All right. Whoa. We'll get a couple of you guys in here. We'll get a man of the match going as well. It's going to be between Pulisic, Leão. Let's go with Musa and then other. So we'll start that poll while a bunch of you join on in here after Milan finally advance out of the UEFA Europa League round of 16 onto the final 8, aka the quarterfinals. Of a beatdown on an aggregate of 7-3, combined with 100 and something minutes or so of being up and man. But regardless, Milan don't control any of that, and they try and do the best they can with what they have. And they scored enough goals today. Mike Magnan, supposedly not a serious injury for the long term. But again, all that matters here is that AC Milan are advancing to the quarterfinals of Europa League, and you really can't ask for much more in this situation. Limited injuries, Calabria subbed off, Ruben Loftus-Cheek subbed off, Christian Pulisic subbed off. So again, unfortunately, we don't end up seeing some substitutes like guys like Noah Okafor, Luka Jovic being subbed on in these instances, but rather we see players who have kind of earned their time, Kalulu getting some minutes back in there again, being subbed on for Davide Calabria, just as we see Malik Chow come on for Fikayo Tomori. So again, Pioli kind of diversifying his substitutes, not strictly subbing out the attacking players today. Again, if you have not liked the video, please do so. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and so on and so forth while a bunch of you guys join on in. Again, podcast recording later tonight with myself and Matt Santangelo. Matt is currently working, so he's not able to hop on just yet. And while we add some of you, I'm going to drink some water. Just give me some of your thoughts on the game. See a couple of you already commenting. 100%, Kim. I agree with this, and I think this is the exact way to kind of approach this. When Milan are gifted a red card in the past couple of matches against Lazio, against Slavia Prague in the first leg, they let you down in terms of their style and how aggressive they were, lack of aggression that they had when it came to these games where Slavia scored 2 goals while being down a man and made it more of a game than it needed to be. Again, Milan conceding today late in this one. Jurasek in the 84th minute, as you could see on the ticker on the bottom. But again, Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek were fantastic. The Chelsea boys once again making their impact. Pulisic has had a fantastic season. It's one of the greatest seasons that an American has ever had in all of Europe. And to be quite honest with you, I think it probably is going to be the greatest season ever for an American in Europe, and therefore the greatest season ever for an American in club football. So Pulisic had just been fantastic, playing out of position, by the way. He's more naturally a left winger, but been so used on the right side to producing at this level, scoring, assisting at high rates, just really, really impressive. And when you factor in that he's a winger compared to what Clint Dempsey and Florian Balogun perform as strikers, this is incredible. And again, Dempsey was playing in Europa League, getting that goal tally. Phenomenal performance in the Premier League as well. But again, this right here, in terms of pressure, in terms of the team that he plays in, expectations, Pulisic is having the best season in American has ever had, and it's really hard to dispute and go against that. So again, we have a couple more comments. Stein, Adley's performance was poor. The inconsistencies of playing out of position will always exist for a player like that. Anthony, 100% agree with you. Thanks for tuning in here as well. And look who it is, Mr. Santangelo. Yeah, goal and assist for each other. They must hate one another for sure. Speaking of, I will go and pull up the tweet that I was referencing with that. Let's see. It's got to be over here. I mean, it wasn't even an argument prior to the season, but I got too much flack for that. But that's a conversation for another day. But we have a couple things I want to show in here prior to. This is one of them that Santangelo was just mentioning, as you can see right here. Whoa. Over here is where we want to zoom in. No, don't want to look at the DMs either. No. All right. I'll figure it out and go and get back the tweet. Total bottle job by me there. But again, live on Talk Sport tonight on the East Coast, 11:15 Central Time. Be sure to tune into that if you're interested. Okay, here we go. And we'll get it from the very beginning of this. So this is Pulisic and Leão after they both assisted and scored for one another. Great to see. Pretty crazy, huh? Injury issues. It's my main guess. Not issues, but risks. Hey Michael, I don't know. We'll talk about the Mignon stuff later, but I don't necessarily agree with that. It really depends on the demand. Yeah, look at them. They keep flipping each other off that entire time. But again, it is nothing. We'll get into that. I just want to discuss the game, guys, real quick. But yeah, this is something that has been really great to see. Milan taking advantage of an easier schedule in Europa League. Really, in terms of something that I'd like to say as taking advantage of weaker opponents and trying to not really exert that much energy in a lot of the players, meaning like Rafael Leão doesn't have to play too much, even though he played all of today. Pulisic getting subbed on, and really just not being nervous. I think a lot of the frustrations from fans were coming from the fact that they weren't playing that well when they were up a man, as opposed to today, where I thought they did fantastic and did everything that they needed to do while being up a man. Matt and I will be discussing everything in terms of the Casa Milan raid and all that stuff later on and the Empoli result. So again, I mean, he's already been cemented as the signing of the season. That's been a thing. Reinders has played well. Loftus-Cheek has played well. I'll get you some of the statistics on some of the top players this season. These are across all competitions. Loftus-Cheek getting all of those. Pulisic, Leão, Loftus-Cheek has 4 goals in Europa League, so really stepping up big time. So the red card for Slavia Prague. Listen, Slavia, I think it was really unfortunate for them in the sense that they were playing well while they were down a man. It kind of leads them to wonder what the tie could have been if they were healthy over the course of 180 minutes. Sorry, not healthy. Playing at even level with 11v11. But again, some of these tackles are just brutal. They're reckless. They're also why they're these teams, because they don't make accurate plays. And it's been a chaotic 2024 for Milan when you see the amount of games that they've conceded in penalties. 3 of the 4 matches that they've recently played have seen them play up a man for large durations of the match. And then on top of it, the 3 red cards in Lazio. There's just been so many back and forth between the chaos being on their side or being against them. but it was nice to see that they really just took advantage of being up in this moment. Yeah, right, George? Isn't it incredible? Two players who just like supposedly hate each other. So we'll go to Leão and Pulisic. I think this was just great link-up play, and again, taking advantage of this one-man lead where Pulisic basically has all the time in the world in the box. You noticed even as well throughout that first half, there was more concern on Milan's left side from Slavia Prague than they were with Pulisic. Pulisic was getting one-on-one opportunities inside the 18-yard area where he's either creating and sending in dangerous crosses or, again, scoring that goal. 3 straight games from Pulisic where he's scoring. And that is the bigger story, because even what my comment was earlier this week with Alexis Salamakers, the worst type of Christian Pulisic performance is great work off of the ball, and then you sit there and get goals basically out of nothing. So great work off of the ball and a goal would be a 10 out of 10 Alexis Salamakers match. That's the floor for Christian Pulisic. Christian Pulisic's ceiling is assisting, scoring, and great work off of the ball. Immediate upgrade for Milan, and it's not even a conversation. So again, with that, kudos to Christian Pulisic. Just an absolutely incredible season, and knock on wood, been phenomenally healthy. So really great to see that. I mean, Musa is going to definitely be a problem. Another strong performance from him. I thought he was great against Empoli. Again, guys, if you're joining late, Matt Santangelo and I will be discussing the Empoli match on the podcast later. Did he? I didn't even see the celebration there. I try and get media stuff up during the celebrations. Yeah, but they just advanced to the Europa, the Youth League semifinal yesterday. They're not going to have those kids. All the key players were playing yesterday, and they went to a penalty shootout, Kim. So that's why. Again, guys, vote for your man in the match. We have that up. We have Leão winning the race here, I think, by 6% over Pulisic. I think it's easily one of the two guys. Everybody. By the way, Tactical Manager wanted me to share something I did on my Twitter account, and I'll go here and drop it in the comments section. The possibility of winning a Christian Pulisic jersey of Milan. It is the home kit for this year. So go ahead, click that link that I just dropped in, or copy and paste it into your URL. And yeah, any chance Italy really depends on these other countries and how far they advance. If Leverkusen advance, if Bayern advance, yeah, Italy's chances of losing that 5th spot are high and mighty. So yeah, not really great when you deep it. I think they were just angry. I think Class TV is referring to them throwing stuff. Chukwueze, and I'll say this, comment Negra, I understand you're asking a question. This Chukwueze discourse, that some people think that Salamakers is better. Some people. He's not. First of all, he's not even close in the technical ability realm. It's not even close. What Chukwueze can actually provide to the team hasn't even been close to seen yet, because 1, Christian Pulisic has been playing phenomenal. 2, Stefano Pioli has a really difficult time of giving more minutes to deserving players. He doesn't really rotate in the same way that Simone Inzaghi does with Inter, and giving guys like, Dumfries more opportunities, and, the way Carlos Augusto gets subbed on for a Di Marco, or even Arnautovic getting subbed on as well. No, these are just bad teams, Joel. I think they're just actually bad teams that are reckless. You see Sarri resign. Slavia Prague was playing very reckless. I will take anyone that's not named Leverkusen or what do you call it? Liverpool. Leverkusen or Liverpool Dodge, win for Milan. I will say that much. But guys, I want to talk about Ruben Loftus-Cheek. With Ruben Loftus-Cheek, we're really seeing a player here that has been moved around in multiple positions, right? We kind of see him as this outside midfielder that's a little bit more box to box on the right side. And then we see him more centrally where he's been as a 10. His final ball product is not that great. He doesn't always make the greatest of runs, physically so dominant, still right place, right time. And you can't really argue against his goal scoring record in Europa League so far. 4 matches, 4 goals, just constant contribution, has done well in Serie A. He's the type of player that I'm not expecting him to step up in the biggest of matches, but he's that type of player that can take over and dominate against those mid-table clubs and those lower tier clubs within the league. And with that, you add up 3 points, and that leads to trophies. It leads to qualifications to bigger tournaments like Europa League, and obviously Champions League for Milan is the goal. Verona over the weekend on St. Patrick's Day, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then with that as well, we are going to see, Milan head into the international break in a very good position, hopefully keeping pace ahead of Juventus for the second spot in Serie A. Well, we have a couple more comments. He's going to be fine. He's going to be staying. Listen, I understand where he's coming from. He's trying to have, his team be prepared and think that he could believe in his team that they could knock out Milan. It's just basically as simple as that. But I will say Ren first with Diate talking prior to the leg, arriving to San Siro, and now Trapovsky opening his mouth prior to Milan playing them. Didn't bode well for both teams. Both got eliminated. Both conceded tons of goals. I think Milan scored 5 against Rennes, and now they had 7 against Slavia Prague. So Slavia Prague, you could tell, is a pretty good team. The issue is when you're down a man for that long against a side like Milan that has this type of quality, good luck. You're not going to beat them. Have to beat the best. Yep, correct. Agree with this. Yeah, he did. He saved, first of all, Chukwueze is the reason Milan are in Europa League and competing for this. Again, he's had injuries, gone to AFCON. Pulisic is playing so well, really hard to get minutes. And I don't necessarily think that's a reflection of who he is as a player. There's no reason for this. I don't think Pioli would do this. It's possible. Pulisic can play as a 10. I'm not opposed to it, but it's just something that isn't kind of necessary for the time being, and I don't think Pioli is going to make the change of Pulisic out wide to another area, much like Gabbia not sitting and getting minutes. It's just something that isn't needed unless it's necessary. Because if all these other players are playing well in those positions, you don't want to move them out of it, right? You don't want to bench Gabbia because he's playing well. You don't want to move Pulisic out of the right wing because he's playing well. No, he's not a 10. No. Way better on a right wide. Not great with both of his feet. Really great with his left, though. I mean, yeah, you said it. Game is central. Man. So stuffy in my room. Yeah, there isn't too much to do post-game with this. We're going to see some of the results for these other matches here. I think Milan, again, getting the proper result. So again, with that, we're going to be moving in a direction of discussing some of these other things. Yeah, well, yeah, of course. They're just better teams. Liverpool's competing for a chance to win the Premier League, and they're going toe-to-toe with City and Arsenal, and they're a very good side. And then on top of it, Leverkusen haven't lost a game all season in any competition. What else do you need to know, huh? He's willing to drop deep into. I mean, I don't know. I think you're giving him a little too much credit. But yeah. And then before we get to our man of the match and head on out, because we're going to do around half an hour for this, there's other accounts like Old Hard Rossonero and others that you guys can go and tune in and check out their channel, SempreMilan.com, Kush, Milan Weekly Podcast. Trying to think. Oh, the Calcio guys are great. Adriano Dinardo is a Milan fan. Nick and Johnny are great people too. So be sure to tune in and check that out. Shout out Uncle Sharma, by the way. Made it on to CBS Golazo over here in the United States. Unfortunately, Inter sucks to suck, doesn't it, huh? Won Champions League in 50 years since the Nixon administration. Pack your bags. So we'll get into the Rafael Leão goal. Guys, this goal is stunning. The technique is phenomenal. And you're just always sitting there saying to yourself, if he could just do this on a consistent basis with this ball striking ability, holy shit, this player can achieve some incredible feats. But until that day, we wait. But Rafael Leão, kudos to you. A goal and an assist. And what has been deemed a disappointing season by most people has been fantastic for Leão. So yeah, man of the match. For me, it's Rafael Leão, and he's going to win it. Pulisic, listen, the assist is great. I'm happy he got credited with the assist on Leão's goal, but let's be real. That's all Rafael Leão. Great link-up play as well on the Ruben Loftus-Cheek goal. He had the hockey assist there with the link-up play. And then again, with the assist to Christian Pulisic. It was a complete performance from Rafael Leão, just taking over in these matches in which he should. Pulisic, fantastic. I mean, just even being mentioning once again as a potential, not a potential, as the best player in the match. Once again, nothing left that you can say regarding that. So guys, appreciate you all so much. Again, like, subscribe the channel. If you missed most of this stream, just go right on back to the beginning. Not too much to discuss. We'll see what Atalanta and Sporting has to offer us. We will see what Roma and Brighton will do. We'll see if Leverkusen and Liverpool as well will advance. They're both all likely to. But again, we appreciate all the support here. Please tune in to the podcast tonight, where that will be published. We'll be discussing the match today, Empoli, a look ahead to Verona, and some of the stuff regarding Casa Milan getting rated, and some more stadium updates about San Donato. Any other final comments I'll let you guys say and pull up here. But again, at That Milan Pod on Twitter, and That Milan Podcast on Spotify and Apple, as mentioned here. And then you could follow me everywhere else, as I mentioned. So yeah, just going to get another sip of water, see if any more comments pop up. So yeah. %. Yeah. Even Pulisic and Leão were both close to having braces. Pulisic got blocked on one of them. Really tough one. Goalkeeper came out, made a nice save. Same on Rafael Leão as well. Doesn't look like we're getting any more comments in here. But again, Rafael Leão, man of the match. Milan advanced to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. I'm Martino Puccio. We appreciate you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you later.